Hey, you guys, we're waiting for folks to come in so we can talk about Married at First Sight, Australia. Look like I got some folks in here. Drop your name, where you from. We're doing a commitment ceremony episode and we're going to talk about what happened, you guys. Oh my God. Can you hear me? Welcome, you guys, to the live chat of the commitment ceremony, episode 9. Let me know where you guys are from, who's here. Hey, come on in the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're waiting for everybody to jump in. I know here in the States, the Super Bowl is about to start or is already on. So if there's some folks that, of course, hey, Lisa, how are you? Did you watch the commitment ceremony? And then we got Thomas from Louisiana. Hey, Thomas. Hey, you guys, welcome. Now, I'm respectable of everybody's time. So, I'm going to jump right into this. Hey, Katie. And also, too, guys, I have on the banner there. If you have Instagram, you can always follow me on Instagram as well because I usually post daily content, anything new that come up with any of the cast members. And then, too, if you want to support the channel, just hit the Cash App. The information is right there. So let's jump into this. I know you guys have a lot to talk about. So we're going to start off with this first couple. Lisa, what do you mean? No, I didn't get the channel. Oh, you didn't see the episode yet? Hey, Rachel. Canada is in the house. Hey, Rachel. Okay, so let's talk about Olivia and Jackson. And we really don't have much there with these two because we automatically knew that they were going to stay together. I mean, pretty much they're on track to fall in love. They said they see a future together. Everything in their relationship is going well. So, of course, they decided to stay. And yeah, just in time for Valentine's Day, watching them, it kind of helped out a bit, right? What do you guys think about Olivia Jackson? Do you think they're going to go long term? We kind of talked about this last night. If you missed the live chat that we did yesterday of Married at First Sight Australia and of Married at First Sight Boston in the US, we actually did talk a little bit about Olivia and Jackson. It's no surprise that they stayed together, right? The only thing is my concern is, and we talked about this, is whether or not they will do conflict resolution well, because they really haven't had any tough discussions, any issues, any of that type of thing, right? So, with all of that, what happens when they get into that first disagreement, right? Or how would they be able to handle it? Now, hey, yeah, Rachel, they are sweet and genuine, right? I enjoy watching them. I really want to see what happens with them this week because this week is intimacy week. I did post a preview of intimacy week on my channel. So if you haven't seen it, you can go check it out. But I honestly believe they can go the long haul. They actually got what it takes. Their chemistry is on point. Their values are pretty much matched very well. I think the experts did a wonderful job with these two. So, undoubtedly, from what we've seen, there was no question whatsoever that they were going to stay, right? So, that's why I wanted to go ahead and talk about them, get them out the way. I think Sarah says, I think this couple is the only one. You think so? You don't think any of the other couples are going to make it? Really? What about like Ella and Mitch, or Dominica and Jack. Ones that, and Sarah says, ones that didn't have any superficial expectations. Now, that I agree with. They came in grounded, genuine. Yeah, there was no superficial anything with these two. Mary says, I saw the preview, looks like fire. I know, right? I kind of wish that Married at First Sight in the US did something like Intimacy Week or something. I think the US needs to kind of revamp their game and, kind of change stuff a little bit. But yes, oh my God, you are absolutely correct, Mary. That preview looks like fire. Hey, Tassie, welcome back. You were here yesterday. Oh, no worries, girl. We just got started. Tassie from Toronto. Toronto's in the house. We got another. We had Rachel is from Ontario, and we got Tassie from Toronto. And then, of course, Florida's in the house. Louisiana, Virginia, Northern California. Oh my God! Thank you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But yeah, you didn't miss much, Tassie. We just got started talking about Olivia and Jackson. And they were going to say yes, right? So there was no big surprise with these two. Um, just like Sarah said, they came in not having any superficial expectations. So that was definitely awesome. I don't know if I want to spend too much time on them because they really didn't have much in this episode, right? So let us move it along. Let's do this couple. We have now Dominica and Jack. We're going to talk about them. So, what do you guys think about Dominica and Jack? It was no surprise per se. I didn't know what, because the sex seems to be off with these two. What do you think? You think the sex is off with these two? I watched Married at First Sight AU early. I nearly broke my finger. I clicked so quick. You was definitely ready to go, right? That is hilarious. But yeah, I'm wondering, do these two, Dominica and Jack, have what it takes? Is she going to be a little bit too much for him? Because she's a lot more friskier in the bedroom. Maybe she can teach him some things, but Jack is like, I don't want to have sex all the time. Whereas Dominica is like, give it to me as often as possible. And let's see what we got in the comments. Tassie says she's a lot like, she is like Lindsay. You are absolutely right. So Lindsay, for those who watch Married at First Sight here in the States, Lindsay is married to Mark the Shark. And Lindsay is a Spitfire. Whatever comes up comes out. She don't care what she says, and sometimes it rubs folks the wrong way. Do you think, Tassie, that she's at the level of Lindsay, that far or close to it? But now, what I did not like, because okay, so she talked about her period, right? And the guys were getting kind of squeamish. And one of the experts kind of chastised the guys for making faces. What did you guys think about that? Because I was like, everybody isn't comfortable sitting around. Understand having menstrual cycles are normal as a woman. I get it. But I saw some of the comments, and some of the comments was like, yeah, we should normalize menstrual periods. Okay, cool. That's fine. But Tassie said Lindsay Jr. Dominica is a lot. Definitely. B Fly Nick. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, she is a lot. But the whole conversation about the period, and then the experts getting kind of miffed at the guys making faces. Everybody is not comfortable with that conversation. So to make it look like, what is wrong with you for feeling the way you feel. I don't know. That didn't sit well with me. Exactly, Mary. It should have been private. It should have been private. And just like I said in the live yesterday and on the recap that I did the other day of episode 8, everybody doesn't automatically assume that you're going to have sex on your period. I mean, seriously. I mean, she brought that in as if that's actually something everybody does. Right? Hey, Shamanda, how are you? Hello, hello, hello. Rachel says, I felt it was a little bit too much information regarding her periods. Absolutely. It was, man, it was definitely TMI. Most definitely. I was squeamish. It should be a private conversation. Exactly. Exactly. And for that expert to really kind of make the guys feel bad for looking uncomfortable, they had every right to be uncomfortable. I mean, seriously. I mean, if she had a brought it up in conversation saying, well, me and Jack, we had a little conversation about, sex, dealing with my menstrual cycle and left it right there. But she went into detail. And I'm like, come on. Seriously? So they ended up saying that they'll stay together. Do you think these two will stick it out during the long haul? What do you think? I don't know. I think pretty soon she's going to say something really, really crazy, and Jack is going to probably get offended. I mean, right now he's pretty much going with the flow with Dominica, but I honestly, you know, I don't think that, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Because I don't know if they can go the long haul. I think he's going to eventually get tired of her antics. And she might get bored with the sex because if he doesn't go at the frequency that she wants and whatever creativity that she does, is she going to get bored with him? I mean, so I don't know. I just honestly, I don't know about these two for a long time, but we'll definitely see. Only way I would think this would work is if Jack is accommodating for her. If he's willing to like pick up the frequency of how often they had sex, because she wanted whenever she wants it, and he's like, I can, I can go a couple to maybe 2 to 3 days a week. Tassie says 2 weeks of her being too much is one thing. That kind of thing long term is something else. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, how long can you go like that? Maybe she would Mary. Maybe she would be more happy with Mr. Stud Andrew. I know, right? Andrew loves sex. He loves his sexuality. He had multiple partners because of the number of his body count. So he would absolutely love to probably be with Dominica. Hey, Debbie. We talked about what you missed so far. We did briefly talk about the first couple, Olivia and Jackson, which we knew they were going to stay together. So we're now talking about Dominica and Jack and the whole period conversation. I thought it was, kind of, I don't know. I didn't like how the one of the experts talked to the guys because they were kind of squeamish about the conversation. I know periods are normal, but like if you look in some of the comments, like B Fly Nick said it should have been a private conversation. Rachel was like it was a little bit too much information. So yeah, it was TMI. So that's what we're talking about. But I think she's gonna be a little much. Debbie, um, they were also saying that I think that was Tassie that was saying that she reminds her of Lindsay from the Boston season. Let me know what you think. Is she somebody call her Lindsay Jr.? But you know what? I saw them staying together. It was no big surprise that they decided to stay together. No biggie there. But long term, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, and yeah, I'm curious what would it have been like if they did um put Andrew with her, with Dominica, especially since their sex drives pretty much seems to be off the charts. Debbie said, I can see Dominica as a Lindsay Jr. Okay. Okay. See, Tassie, she agrees with you. Mary says she definitely like to put on a show like Lindsay. Yes, she does. You know what? I bet you if Lindsay had the opportunity, she probably will have that same conversation if she was into that thing, into the same thing. Like she was with the whole period sex. But yeah, so yeah, oh yeah, she agreed with you, Tassie. So you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. But yeah, as for this couple, it wasn't too much today. Just that whole period conversation was ridiculous to me, but okay. I guess it was the only thing that they really had a big blow up about. Other than that, they've been pretty cool. Debbie says Andrew will find something to complain about with everybody. You think so? Debbie, what do you think he would complain about with Dominica? What would you think his issue might be if you had to guess? Because yeah, he might probably would have found something. I don't believe Andrew is the stud that he thinks he is. Really? Yeah, you know what, Mary, just because you were able to sleep, not you per se, but just because Andrew, I should say, was able to sleep with 350 people, that doesn't mean that all of them liked his performance too. I mean, who's to say that some of those folks, probably a percentage of some of those folks that he was with, can probably come back and say he wasn't all that either. Tassie says intimacy week will stir the pot, I think. Yes, it will. Now, there is a scene that they show where we saw Cody and Selena getting some intimacy on. So that is going to be interesting. That is going to be interesting. Yep. Apparently no one went back twice. Yeah. It seems so because if that was the case, somebody out of that 350 would have stayed with him if they really wanted to be with him, right? Andrew likes to hear himself talk, not anyone else, and Dominica likes to talk a lot. Hmm. So do you think they would be trying to fight for position in a conversation? Probably so. I felt bad for Selena today. Yeah, we're going to talk about her in a little bit. Yes, we are. Yeah, I mean, he likes to hear himself talk, and Dominica likes to hear likes to talk a lot herself. Oh, absolutely. Those two would most definitely be in a fight for conversation. So, yeah, that would be interesting. Okay. Anybody got anything else on these two? Because it didn't surprise me that they decided to stay together. They really haven't had any big, major, consistent issues with each other. So, yeah, I didn't see a big issue with them. Okay. Let us talk about our next couple. Let's talk about Mitch and Ella. So, what did you think about these two? So, yes, they did decide to stay together. However, even though Mitch said it was a walk in the park, Ella said that, and you can tell by her face, she was looking uneasy. Ella, she made the comment about Mitch doesn't get very deep and intense with her, and that when she dates, she usually is. So it was interesting though that she says she's learning to get on his level, and that's not being so deep. I mean, you're gonna want to have those deeper conversations, I would think. You will want to have those deeper conversations. Yeah, she did. She did seem less happy than he did. But Debbie says Ella and Mitch are full of dishwasher. That is too funny. But yeah, I mean, for her to say I'm usually deep, I go deep in conversations and getting to know people, but prior to Mitch, and now she says being with Mitch, she needs to not go deep. That's not a good thing. It's just not. Because don't you want to know like core values? What do you want out of life? What direction do you want to go? Um, Spirituality, kids, have they even had that conversation? I don't think so. Not at this point. Well, from what I've seen, because all of they've been doing is connecting sexually. So it didn't surprise me that they say they're going to stay, but more, they need to be able to try to connect outside of the bedroom. So, I mean, them coming up on intimacy week, I don't think that's going to help the cause unless something else happens. Now, I did see a short, small clip of these two, and maybe there's a little argument or something for Intimacy Week. So maybe they're going to throw a wrench in this thing. Tassie said, not that we've seen. Exactly. We have not yet seen them go deep into anything except into their bedroom. That's it. And that's so unfortunate because last week should have been the week that they were connecting on a deeper level before getting into this week, which is intimacy week. So I don't know about these two. I mean, unless they do that, all they're going to be is a superficial couple. Like who said? Somebody said that earlier, that they're going to be superficial because there's nothing there. Now, unless we're not seeing everything, maybe they've had conversations and we haven't seen anything, but the look on Ella's face is like, no. And he said it's been a cakewalk. Okay, but you, like one of the experts said, you're going to need to know it shouldn't be that easy. You're going to have to go through some things in your relationship, and it's really going to test how strong the relationship is. Tassie says, is he younger than her? He seems a lot younger. I don't know. Anybody know the age between these two? I didn't think he was younger than her, you know? But I guess the maturity level, is that what you're referring to, Tassie? He seems a lot more immature than her. Is that maybe why? I thought that um of course Al is the youngest guy out of all of them. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I do know that these two need to dive deep because just being in the bed all the time, and he and Al seems alike. Yeah, they do. Remember when they first came into the gentleman's room, and I think who was it? Either Al or Mitch was talking about who looks better than the other, and I think Al was like, "I'm the best looking one in the room." So they definitely about their features, their looks and things like that, and that's okay, but to a certain extent. It's not the thing, especially when you're in a relationship. You know, at least Al is trying to put in some work with Sam, whereas, Ella looked like she's kind of pulling teeth for him to go deep with her. And that's so unfortunate because if they can build a deeper connection outside of the bedroom, they already have the sexual connection, they could have a great relationship actually. Yeah, you remember that? Debbie says agree. Al wants to improve himself for his marriage and Mitch isn't. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because um if Ella is saying, look, can you ask me more questions? Can we do something where, you want to get to know me? He's like, I already know everything I need to know. Remember he said that? He said, I already know what I need to know. That's ridiculous. Because at what point, do you start to go deep? I mean, that's crazy. But, if he wants to stay at surface level, eventually it's going to fizzle out. I mean, how can you build a relationship strictly on sex? Because you don't know this person. Al surprised me on wanting to work on his marriage. Yes, so he's showing a lot more maturity than some of the older couples, because you got some folks that think they already know or don't want to put in the work. Al is actually, yeah, he's that's what you call growth. We're gonna talk about them. Tassie said that's startling. 2 weeks in and he's done. Are you referring to Mitch, Tassie? Or are you referring to Al? But yeah, Mitch is like, I know all what I need to know. I don't need to know anything else. Really? And the thing is, Mitch was the one that was skeptical of the experts in this whole process. He gets into the process. Mitch. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, 2 weeks in, and he says that's all he needs to know about Ella. You are, yep, it is startling. But with Mitch, right now, he's pretty much like, nope, I'm good. What else I need to know? I don't need to know anything. This girl is a stranger. You don't know her. All you know is what you guys have done in the bedroom. Everything else is pretty much surface. They get up, they spend time together, they laugh, they talk, they definitely have fun with each other in conversation. Remember that whole bathroom scene where he was standing upside down naked in the bathroom? Mitch is more immature than Al. Yeah, well, exactly. I agree with you on that, because wanting to grow in the relationship and learn more about your partner is more mature than somebody saying, I don't need to know anything else. You're not learning anything. You're pulling for Al right now, Mary? Absolutely. I I mean, I'm looking at Al. I'm like, okay, I'm proud of you, Al. He's trying to make strides. I'm happy to see that he's wanting to put in the work. Absolutely. But as for Mitch, I honestly believe that if he stays right here at the superficial level, Ella is going to get bored because she's going to want to look for more. Okay, we got the sex down pat. We got the intimacy down pat. But what else is there to you? Don't you want to know more about who I am? Mary said, hopes his wife sees it. Yeah, I hope Samantha sees it. Samantha is still on the fence to me, even though she's sticking in, but we'll talk about Sam and Al in depth in a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I know right now they are fire, meaning Mitch and Ella, but long term, he got to do a deep dive and get to know how deep can we be in this relationship and get to know each other, because other than that they're going to fizzle out after a while. Everyday life kicks in if you stay married to this person, or in this case they're, what is it called, because we talked about this yesterday, because here in the United States, married at first sight, you actually have a legal binding marriage ceremony, and I think in the UK and Australia it's just a, I guess, a partner commitment type ceremony. It's not legally bound. But if they decide to stay together, I mean, at what point, do you get involved in everyday life? What if you see that she's the type of person who don't want children and he wants kids, or vice versa? Or how they handle money together? Are you a person that mismanages money, or do you manage money well? They need to have those conversations. Mitch isn't worth getting to know deeper. Ella would be disappointed. You think so? I mean, I don't know. I want to know what else is, what more is it to Mitch and Ella, cuz we really don't know much about her either, because they haven't had the conversations. Mary says, "Yes, I heard that." Okay. So yeah, long term, I don't see this as being something solid. I mean, that's my opinion. But they did say yes and they decided to stay. Tassie says she is deserving of at least getting to know him. Absolutely. Absolutely. They need to get to know who they're with. You sleeping with this guy, you sharing intimacy with each other. Why not get to know who you're sharing intimacy with? Get to know them, get to know him, get to know her. Because otherwise, they're going to fizzle. It's going to, or something is going to hit them in the face. They're going to hit the wall and find out something about each other and like, oh my God, you're not who I thought you were. Well, if you took the time to get to know that person, then maybe you would have learned that a little bit earlier. Tassie says she is deserving of. Okay, we said that. Mary, I heard too. U.S. takes a year to get divorced. Yeah, it does take a long time. And the thing is, with the U.S. contestants, they don't even have like property or children to try to settle in a divorce decree or anything. It just takes so long here. That's why if you do sign up in the US, you got to make sure this is something that you want to do. Seriously. So, I me myself, I wouldn't advise anybody to do it here. At least in the UK and in Australia, if you wanted to walk away, you don't have to go through anything legally to break the marriage contract. So, but yeah, so Ella and Mitch decided to stay together, which wasn't a big surprise 2 weeks in. We'll just have to see what they're going to do later, right? Okay. Since we were talking about Al and Sam, let's talk about Al and Sam. So, let's see. I wasn't sure what was going to happen with Al and Sam. So the thing that Samantha opened up, and her concerns about Al was lacking self-awareness. Now, Al did admit that he's likely not as mature as Sam wants a partner to be. But Al did say that, he felt like she's leading the relationship and he wants to try and take the lead, and he did master washing his own clothes, and I think he even said he cooked the bolognese. Um John, which is the expert, told Sam to stop mothering him and asked Al to take more to lead. And then, of course, they chose to stay. So, what do you think? Do you think that um, Sam was being acting in a mother role? I mean, granted, I guess you can say that because of her showing him things. Um, what do you think about him taking the lead? Now, just say he takes the lead. He decides to step up and take the lead. My question is Sam going to allow him to do that? Tassie says, after he drunk from the shoe, I gave up on him, but now I'm impressed with his efforts. Yeah, he's definitely trying to put in the work. He's definitely trying to put in the work. Debbie, the U.S. couples get bonus money the longer they stay married. That is correct. And I even think if they do say yes at decision day, this is what I heard, so don't quote me on this. But I heard that the US couples after decision day, if they stay married, in some cases, they get to stay in paid like apartment units or whatever for 5 weeks after that. So yeah, they definitely continue to get paid. And especially if they go on couples cam. I don't know if they're doing couples cam again this season because I haven't seen anything about it. But couples cam here, of course, is couples that decide to stay together and they follow them after. Debbie says Sam and Al are growing on me. I think it will do him good for him to mature and take the lead in the relationship. Yes, I agree. My question is if Sam is going to feel comfortable with Al leading, because that's the thing. She's unsure of him as it is in this position. Now you're telling her to trust him to take the lead? Is she going to want to do that? What do you guys think? I don't see Sam easily turning that over to Al to take the lead. I just don't, because she's not sure of him right now. So with the experts saying, you know what, Sam, you got to take a back seat and let go and let him step up and take the lead. Is she going to be comfortable doing that? The question, that's the biggest question, and I'm not sure she might be comfortable doing that. Now, like I said, she got to give him the room to do it too. So it's one thing of her accepting the fact of him doing it, but are you going to make sure you give him the space to make decisions, to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to learn this on my own? Because they also told her to stop teaching him things. He has to go and try to learn these things on his own. He even mentioned in episode 8 he was going to have to YouTube some of this stuff that he needs to learn how to do too. So, Mary says, um, hopefully he surprises her. I hope so too. Debbie says Sam will never know unless she releases the reins to Al. She can't have it both ways. You are absolutely correct. Either you want him to mature, you give him the space to do it, and then allow him to, or you're going to be always on thin ice with him. And that's what I see. I don't She wanted both ways. She wanted him to be, I need you to man up, I need you to be more mature, blah 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 blah. But at the same time, she wants to be the person that's leading, because she don't trust him yet. That's the thing. And they've only been together 2 weeks. So I will say I'm not going to try to, with Samantha. But I also understand her thing. She's only been with this guy 2 weeks. So she really don't know what he's capable of. Can she trust herself in his hands? All of that. Is she comfortable with that? And he feels kind of sad, but he could have easily, like, pouted if the immaturity was really great on his end. And I don't mean great as a good thing. I mean great as him being really, really immature. Um, he could have pouted, got mad, walked away. I don't want to do this. This is too much. We have never heard any of that from him. He's willing to do it. He's willing to learn. He's allowing this woman to teach him. He's willing to step up. He's ready to do the work. And I can't fault him for that. And I want to take a pause right now, by the way. If you like if you like the live and you like the video, smash the like button. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button as well. Also, too, if you want to follow me on IG, my IG handle is there. And if you want to support the channel, cash tag is there as well. But back to these two. So, ultimately they decided to stay together, right? But if they're going to do this, she got to give him the space to do what he got to do. The other thing is, guys, what do you think about intimacy week with these two? Do you think that they are going to share some intimacy? Let's see. Tassie says she might be afraid he'll embarrass her, so she might need to be reassured. That's true. Yeah, because his past antics of the whole shoey thing and doing the splits at the wedding and all of that, he started off on the wrong track. Mary says sometime the young guy will teach the older ones. That is true. He's definitely teaching the older guys that if you want a marriage to work, you need to put the work in. Oh, it was the worm. It was the worm. That was so crazy. That boy broke out and did the worm. Yes, he did. So between that Chewy and that worm, she was definitely, I'm surprised actually Samantha didn't just walk away. But she's attracted to him. That's the other thing. I mean, he's not a bad looking guy. So I think also what's keeping Samantha there is that she's attracted to him. That's the other thing. But ultimately, they did end up staying together. My question is she going to be able to be intimate with him? Because I don't think they have at this point. What do you guys think? Do you think that they'll be able to, share some intimacy this coming week? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if that's the case. Al, yeah, he did. He did. That's the other thing. He acknowledges his behavior. Once he realized that Sam did not like what he was doing, he took notice of it and he was like, "Oh man, I think I screwed up. Oh man, I did too much." Yeah, you think so, Tassie? Okay. Yep. I'll definitely be looking forward to seeing if, intimacy will become a part of their relationship. Debbie says Al would charm the knickers off of her and she would be pissed afterwards. You think that's funny? He is a charming guy. I really truly think he knows how to tone it down, you know? So, yeah, he'll definitely be able to do that with her. So, yep, yep, yep. All right. Let us move on. Let's try who we want to go to next. Let's go to Brent and Tamara. Oh my God, these two. I felt so bad for Brent. What do you guys think? Now, with Brent and Tamara, because I keep mispronouncing that girl's name. What do we got on Brent and Tamara? Because I got a couple of notes on them. These two, he thought everything was going fine, right? But when it came to Tamara, her face said it all. She was like, no, not really. She didn't agree. She said most of their relationship is not bad before she was talking about how unsure she felt. And then, of course, the conversation went to her audition tape. And she said it felt like that, Brent said that he felt like he was frowned upon he frowned upon her tape or whatever, when she said that. What do you think about this couple? I honestly thought that they were working out, you know, but Tamara is look like she's having a change of heart. Cause this whole thing about his job, right? Because she said a partner's occupation is important to her. And we saw the experts ask her, well, do you think Brent is good enough for her? Do you think he can be an equal in the relationship? And she said, I don't know yet. I just don't know. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Her tape was bad, Tassie. B Fly Nick says, I really like Brent. She always trying to blindside him is strange. She does. And I mean he's definitely trying to work with her. He's definitely trying to work with her. But she keep flip-flopping. One moment they're cool, the next moment they're not. Or she's like hot and cold. Debbie says Tamara needs to get over herself. There's nothing wrong with being a restaurant manager. Absolutely. Mary says just not sure about these two. Yeah. I don't know. Brent wants it more than she does, I think. Yep. I really truly think that he wants it more than she does. Tassie says she has to stop being a snob or he'll walk. Absolutely. I understand, the fact that she don't want to be in a relationship where she has to take care of everything, because that's her past. But unless Brent is showing her that, why go there? Why go there? If he's not being that type of guy, don't bring your past into this relationship. But yeah, he's going to get tired of that. Her looking down her nose. It's one thing if you're nervous about whether somebody's going to take advantage of you and you got to, basically take care of the relationship. But it's another thing, if you're just snobbish, and saying, oh, you're not good enough for me. I mean, it's crazy. And it's so unfortunate because I honestly think that if she got over that, they could really work. They could really make this work. And I mean, he could have cut her off a long time ago. That wedding and her and that upside down cake knife, that whole thing was absolutely ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And then, she was looking at him crazy when he originally told her what he did for a living. It's like, girl, you better be glad he's still here. But he got playful with her. He tried to make her feel comfortable and make her feel secure, and it brought some of her walls down. But obviously, there's some issues still there. Why did she sleep with him, and did she even enjoy it? Yeah, that's the other thing. You slept with this guy. Tassie says their wedding was cringy. It was. I mean, because she came in snobby. I was like, oh no, this is going to be a train wreck. When I first saw their wedding, I thought sure this was going to be a train wreck because it's like, really? Nah. So, looked like they had made strides, but obviously after this whole thing, even though she said she'll stay, she still got issues with him. And how is he going to deal with that moving forward? Because that's going to always be in the back of his mind about whether or not he's good enough for her, especially when they go home. Because eventually they have to, well, they are home, but when you get to meet the family and, his everyday life, what are you going to do? So I don't know about these two. They gave me a glimpse of hope for a minute, and then after this whole conversation, she took 10 steps backwards. She definitely took 10 steps backwards. So, what else you guys got on these two? They stayed, but I don't know. I'm not sure. So, I know we got a couple of others to talk about. Let's see. You know what? Let's go ahead and jump into Holly and Andrew. The experts dive deep into Andrew. Oh my goodness. And I know you guys definitely want to drop some comments in on this couple. So, what we had with these two was of course they came off of a rough week. Andrew said to the experts that he didn't feel like she was present during the process. When in the process, of course, meaning sex. Holly opened up about Andrew saying he had more of a one night stand after being intimate. Um, and she understood what the task was, but she got offended. She was hurt because she said she was there and was trying to bond with her husband. Andrew goes back into this whole thing about just being honest. He can't walk on eggshells, worrying about how people respond. He was just being brutally honest. But Alessandra, the expert, she wasn't trying to hear it. She told him, "You can be honest, but don't be hurtful. You can be honest and kind, but being inconsiderate and rude in the way you say things with the excuse of being honest," she said she's going to call him out each and every single time. And then of course, Holly talked about how Andrew's honesty, what impact it had on her. She said she felt less beautiful, less acknowledged in the room with the man. He doesn't understand the gravity of how his actions had affected her. Now, what do you think about that so far? Because there was a plot twist at the end of this, right? There was definitely a plot twist. Um, yeah, Mary said he deserved it because she didn't French kiss. Wow, yeah, that's crazy. I guess she was giving him pecks or something. Well, she wasn't giving me any tongue. I'm like, you know what? And honestly, guys, there is an actual poll out that came out and I don't know if it was posted in social media, that there's a large percentage of people that really don't like the kiss, period. I even seen, what was that, on Love Is Blind? Somebody said that they really don't like the kiss because they're afraid of the saliva and all of the enzymes that's in it. So maybe Holly is one of those who, they don't like to do all the French kissing. Obviously, he does, because he says kissing is definitely, tongue kissing is definitely important to him when having sex. Mary says she said that they kissed during sex. Yeah, but then he said, what Tassie say? He first said he didn't kiss at all, and then said that they kissed but without tongue. Yeah, so he did say that. Because when he said, well, we didn't even kiss, and she was like, yes, we did. Oh, yeah, we kissed, but it was no tongue. Honestly, I don't even know why they stayed together. Because remember, there was a plot twist. So she said yes. I'm like, why did you want to stay in this? This man don't want to have children right now. I mean, that's a big thing right there in itself. He does not want kids right now. He doesn't want kids. So why do you want to be with this man? This man, you can't handle his, whatever he want to call it, brutal honesty, none of that. Why do you want to stay with him? B Fly Nick says, I feel like Andrew just wants to be on the show. He's playing games to get more airtime. 300 plus women who did want a relationship with. He's gross. Yeah. A lot of people saying he's not there for the right reasons. Tassie says he just redefined what a kiss is supposed to be. LOL. Bree53 says, hey Bree, Holly is desperate and Andrew is a narcissist. Yeah, Holly, I don't, these two should not be together. Why did they say stay? And he was on the verge. He wrote down on his card to leave. And then at the last minute, he said he crossed it out and said, I'm going to stay. I'm like, what? Come on. David says they stayed together because Holly desperately wants kids and Andrew simply sees it as a challenge. Wow. Yeah, that's possible. Breeze says they both want screen time. It's got to be something. It can't be because they want to work on this relationship. There is nothing that these two have in compatibility. They're not sexually compatible. When it comes to family, they're not compatible. I mean, he has a child already. Her window for fertility is closing fast. She want a kid now. He doesn't. I mean, I don't know who to blame here. Put blame on the experts, because what did you put? What did they put on their questionnaire? Both are actors and have been on TV before. Really? Okay. So is this a way to boost their acting career? Taxi said, I wonder if he's staying to get airtime for his job. Possibly. Debbie says, Andrew did that card, leave, and stay crap to irritate the experts. Yep. And Bryce did it and they hated it. Okay. Even if the experts helped them, Holly would continue to work hard to please. Oh boy. Yeah. Yep. Craziness. What else you guys got? I know you guys want to go in on them because it's ridiculous that they want to stay together. Andrew is skeptical because he feels desperation. Yep. Absolutely.